Cynthia G is not the path to victory, for you see, she works for the Willie Lynch seed. Cynthia G, Willie Lynch seed, no path to victory. So why is she coming on a YouTube, performing for the YouTube algorithm, telling women and the men that hate themselves that a report known as the Monyihan Report, okay? The Monyihan Report, okay? These reports, she reads, and it says that the Black American family life is under the matriarch, okay? So I have it up and I'll read a little bit of it so you can get the context. And it says a fundamental fact of Black American family life is the often reversed roles of husband and wife. The often reversed roles of husband and wife. Okay, so if there's reversed roles of husband, of wife, and I say that Cynthia G is the Willie Lynch seed, okay, well, let's just see what I mean by that. And let me pull this up for you real quick. Ashe, ashe. Okay, ashe, ashe. The report says, right, the often reversed roles of male and female in the Black family. Interesting, because the Willie Lynch letter that came out in 1712 states in Strategy 5 that basically you're to break the spirit of the Black man in front of the woman and child until he can no longer resist, right? This leaves the woman feeling alone, unprotected by him, and his image destroyed. The ordeal will cause her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In the frozen psychological state of independence, she will in turn raise her males and female offspring in reverse roles for fear of the young male's life. She will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong because she has become psychologically independent. She will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. So basically, Cynthia G fell right into the trap of Strategy 5. For does she not consistently state for the YouTube algorithm that these men are mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong? Wow, she sounds like the seed of Willie Lynch. She sounds like she's just reading right out of the pages of the Willie Lynch letter. Interesting. And isn't it also interesting that Strategy 4 is that you must use the dark skin against the light skin, and the light skin versus the dark. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. You must also have your servants and overseers distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that you slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Wow, Cynthia G does it again. Not only has she perfected Strategy 5, which is to state that her men, right, she comes from the seed of these men, are mentally weak and dependent, but she also has mastered Strategy 4, which is to pit the male versus the female and to create a distrust of all blacks. Notice how she always says all black men, right? She doesn't go on to state which black man she's referring to, thus making her disingenuous if she has some sense about her. Otherwise, she would remain ignorant. Now, going back to the Monyihan Report, okay? She did read about the matriarchal part, which, goes in to talk about women overall. And the reports back in 1963 were overall more educated than men, to include white men, but more so in the black community. And she used that again to go to strategy 5 of the Willie Lynch, which is to say that the seed that she comes from is mentally weak and inferior, but physically strong. So she used that to impart strategy 5 on you, because why not, right? Okay, but it seems that she forgot to read chapter 4, the tangle of pathology. This is the Monyihan Report, okay, of 1963. And there's a part in here. Let me get to it. Here we go. Coming from this report of 1963, which I think was published later in 1965, and so forth. But anyways, here it is. It says, here an earlier word of caution should be repeated. There is much evidence that a considerable number of black families have managed to break out of the tangle of pathology and to establish themselves as stable, effective units living according to patterns of American society in general. E. Franklin Frazier has suggested that the middle-class black American family is, if anything, more patriarchal and protective of its children than the general run of such families. Given equal opportunities, the children of these families will perform as well or better than their white peers. They need no help from anyone and ask none. Oh, why didn't you read that part, Cynthia G? Is it because you do not lead to the path of victory? You just left that one out, huh? I see what you're doing. I get it. So, what is really going on? What is really going on here? What are these black YouTube content creators doing? Is there a battery in their back? Are they on assignment? Are they on code to destroy you? I don't know, and I will tell you this. Going back to the report of 1963, the Monyihan Report, okay? They also go on to say that there is no one black community. There is no one black problem. There is no one solution. Nonetheless, at the center of the tangle of pathology is the weakness of the family structure. Of who? Which part? Can't be the middle class part, because he stated that was a patriarchal stable. So this must, by process of elimination, deduce to the lower class. So when Cynthia G hops on the TV screen, the scrying black screen of phones and cameras, is she referring to lower class blacks? Is she referring to the blacks in her community? Is this to suggest that Cynthia G lives in a community that is toxic and that she is not in a middle class or upper class community where she would be introduced or surrounded by other kind of blacks? Because according to the report that she read, though not reading chapter 4, that states that the middle class is stable. They're fine. So every time she's talking about black people, maybe she's referring to another community that's not middle class or upper class. Because see, that same report that she read from, it says that there is no one problem in the black community, nor is there one black community. So why does black YouTube consistently say all blacks? This is this and that. And what is black? Because there can be black people that are not considered black enough, even if they're dark as the night. Yes, this is true. There's even a whole show on it on Netflix. Actually, it's more like a documentary on Netflix. Not black enough. You Google it, or well, actually go on Netflix and watch it. Yes, people as dark as the night. Okay, full melanin popping were considered not black enough. How is that so? Well, according to the pathology of these Willie Lynch seeded blacks, to be considered black enough is to have what they call the black experience, which is you would have had to had parents come from a single parent home with the black man out of the house, and welfare rights, WIC, poverty, inner city, slums, low-class educational institutions, crime, drug usage, gun violence, gangs. They consider that to be black enough. So the people that are living in these communities are determining what black is, and thus castigating blacks that are not in those same scenarios where they're living stable lives. They're telling those black people that they're not black enough. This is insane. This is crazy. This is idiocy. Now, Cynthia G goes on and says all these things about black men. Who hurt her? Who hurt you, Cynthia G? Because it seems like you're projecting a lot of failures in past relationships with men onto these YouTube streets, and then poisoning the minds, choosing the path of destruction for the YouTube algorithm, choosing this path to destroy the minds of followers. And yes, they really are followers, because if you told them to jump off a cliff, they do it. Because how many leaders do you have listening to you? All these people that support this Willie Lynch madness, are they not all followers? They don't have leadership within them. They claim that they are masculine and that they are divine. But is masculine a follower or a leader? How come all of your issues and all of your problems is the result of something else? Are you not masculine enough to fight back? Are you not masculine enough to make the person that's bullying you, causing the problems, to submit, or at least back off? How is it that you already are always under the thumb of someone else? That's not masculine. That's not being a leader. That means you're a follower. That means that you have arrested development mentally. You are not sharp enough to overcome your adversary. So you stay in an oppressive state. But here's the thing, though. The thing you got to understand about these toxic black YouTube streets is for all the rhetoric that they push, because of course they pander to followers, not leaders. There's not leaders listening to their channels. It's a bunch of followers. It's a bunch of impressionable, arrested development mentally people following and just moving to and fro with every message, donating money to super chats and stuff, mixed in with bots and trolls. And it's this whole soup of YouTube slum soup of followers, not leaders, not masculine, followers, posers, bots, and trolls. Meanwhile, the person providing the content may not even believe the things that they say out of their mouth. For all we know, that Miss Cynthia G and so many others of the YouTubers actually live the opposite of what they preach in real life. Are you really to assume that this woman hates black men as much as she retorts over and over again for your admiration? Is she not like Rome, giving the audience blood? You ask for blood. You want to see the gladiators. So she's merely like Rome, providing you the entertainment you seek. You seek blood. You want people to be roasted. You came for the violence. You woke up and chose violence. You want all the smoke, so she gives you the smoke. And in return, you give her super chat. I mean, that's not to say that she really believed what she say, nor is it to say that Rome really believed what happened in the arenas. It's all entertainment. The circus is all a distraction. It's all a means to keep you off the path of building. And as black men have stated in their own particular religion, the nation of gods and earth. Number eight of the supreme mathematics is build or destroy. Build means to add on to life a positive creation of education. And destroy means to know of, take that which is untrue and light to the knowledge. So every day, your favorite YouTube content creator in the black YouTube space that spews Willie Lynch all up and down, a seed of Willie Lynch. Every day they wake up and they have to make the choice if they choose to build or if they choose to destroy, chica. Every day they have to wake up. Am I going to build my followers today or am I going to destroy? And in their colloquialism, they say, today I woke up with violence. That means that they have chose to destroy today. They have looked at the supreme mathematics and they have chose to destroy. There is no power or refinement in them, which is number 5. Power is the truth. Truth in origin only means of refinement. For to go according to the truth is to make oneself known again. Truth is the power to resurrect the mentally dead from their present state of unawareness and ignorance of self. So you have to ask yourself, does Cynthia G and the others, do they have the power to resurrect the mentally dead from their present state of unawareness and ignorance of self? Do you, after listening to them, feel that you are more ignorant or less ignorant? Do you feel more destructive or less destructive? Do you, when you listen to this commentary, you listen to these people speak, does it put a fire in you that wants to destroy black men? Or on the other side with the black males? Because of course, when she speaks of these black men, to put it in context, she's referring to the black men on YouTube, the black male YouTube content creators, the black manosphere. So to put in, because since she won't put it into context, when she tells you what she's referring to, that's what the context is. And of course, her plan is to destroy the black male YouTube content creators. But you, after listening to it, if you're a follower and you cannot discern for yourself what it is that is coming in between your ears, may then go out into the real world and seek to actually destroy black men or black women, if you're listening to the other content, in real life. And you must understand that YouTube is an entertainment platform, or you're not entertained. You must separate entertainment from reality. We've always been told this as children, that television is not real. If it was real, it would be boring. That's why television is shock and awe, because real life is boring. So that's why you go to the television, to be entertained, to see something shocking, to see something thrilling. Okay, so entertainment is always purposely going to heighten up and make things spicy and deliver the smoke and clash. People like to see a style clash and such. That's entertaining. That's what entertainment is, pitting opposites against each other, putting them in the same room because they're so different. It's going to create entertainment. That's how entertainment works. Entertainment is polarizing. It can build and destroy at the same time, depending on the viewer. Well, that's all we have time for today, my fellow leaders. I want the people that listen to be leaders, not these followers listening to the Willie Lynch brigade, known as the Black YouTube toxic relationship culture, the divestors and SYSBM. Save yourself, black man. Please do. Stop asking for other men to save you. Please save yourself. And stop with the TBMOTH, which means it took the black men out the home. Cynthia G says that it is not true that welfare took the black man out of the home. She says that it started back in slavery. The black man was already determined to be out of the home because of what happened to slavery, which again is referring to the Willie Lynch letter of 1712, which is to break the man's spirit, which she continues to happily do, at least on YouTube. Probably not in her real life. She's probably with black men in real life. She's probably dating black men in real life and having a good old time, and she never says that they are this and that because she wants a man in real life. But of course she's going to teach you not to want men. So and adhere to strategy 4, which is to pit the man against the woman, and also appeal to strategy 5 of the Willie Lynch, which is to constantly retort that the black man is mentally weak and inferior but physically strong. So there you go. Cynthia G is not the path to victory because she be the Willie Lynch seed. Ashe, ashe.